In this video, I'm going to give a limited overview of the wooden bow and some terms relating to its function and creation. This is the precursor to a series of bow building videos I'm working on, and hopefully it helps those new to building better understand the information in the coming installments. The knowledge presented in which will build on and add to what I discuss here. So let's get to it. First up are the belly and the back of the bow, two terms you may or may not have heard that are crucial when discussing bow building. The belly of the bow is the surface facing towards the archer when shooting. The back of the bow is the side facing away from the archer. There are two limbs, an upper and a lower, a handle where you grip the bow, the string, as well as the limb tips and string notches. And, as the arrow is applicable to the demonstration and video series, these parts are called the shaft, the tip or point, the fletchings, and the nock. Before shooting, the bow must first be strung. With the bottom loop on its notch, the limbs are evenly bent while the opposite loop is placed on the top string notch. An arrow can then be nocked on the string and the bow drawn. When viewing the way the wood works within the bow, you can see, as the bow is strung and drawn, the back is stretched or put under tension while the belly is compressed. When the string is loosed, this compression and tension rapidly release, propelling the string forward and launching the arrow. These stresses on the wood of tension and compression are critical to consider when building bows. This is especially true if your goal is to build a heavy hunting weight bow. To preserve the integrity of the bow's back under tension, you may choose to have a self-backed bow or self-bow. This means utilizing a single growth ring of wood along the entire back of the bow. This is where the term self-bow comes from, as it is backed by its own material alone. If your material is weak, or your bow's back cannot be one ring, or you wish to strengthen your bow utilizing a second material, you might use a backing such as sinew or rawhide. These are not the only options for bow backing, but they are my main focus. It will be more thoroughly illustrated in coming videos, but I'll touch upon growth rings and using them as a bow back. Trees typically have a fairly round cross section when viewed from the end of a stump or log. And from that perspective, you can see concentric circles known as growth rings. Each of these rings represent a year of the tree's life. When building a bow from wood, the strongest natural back is created by shaping the bow so that one of these rings travels the entire length of the bow's back. This is one of the keys to preventing the bow's back from breaking under tension. The other two largest factors are having a moderate or minimal crown on the back, as well as avoiding severe runout in the limbs. Crown refers to the roundness of the bow's back. Generally, the smaller the tree, the higher the crown will be. When I say runout or grain runout, I'm describing the termination of grain lines within the profile taper of the limbs. When viewed from the back or belly, you will notice the limbs taper from wider width at the handle to narrower at the tips. Within this taper, it is inevitable that some grain is violated, meaning that when tapering the limbs, they will no longer run perfectly parallel to the lateral growth of the tree. Looking at these bows, you will notice that this one has a relatively straight taper, while this bow shows a bit of curviness. That is because the first bow came from a very straight growing tree, while the second had slight wiggles in it. I will cover the process in the coming build videos, but it is crucial to follow these variations in the wood to avoid grain runout. And again, this is even more important in heavy bows that you want to last a lifetime of shooting. 3 more points I would like to discuss before wrapping up this video are draw weight, draw length, and set. When I say draw weight, I am referring to the weight of the bow when drawn to a specified length or draw length. The weight is the measurable resistance of the bent or drawn bow transferred through the string to the shooter. When I refer to draw length, I mean the maximum allowable distance you may draw the string while shooting. A bow is built to reach this draw length with a specific draw weight, but not to exceed that length. Set, also known as string follow, is caused by overstressing of the wood, and can leave the limbs bent temporarily or even permanently toward the belly side of the bow when unstrung. This can be a direct result of drawing the bow past its intended draw length, either during the build process or when shooting. It can also be due to a number of other circumstances or factors, such as the limbs being too narrow or too short, the wood having too much moisture in it, the bow having unequal limbs, or even defects naturally present in the wood. While the ideas I've covered here are not all inclusive of bow building, they are enough to familiarize you with some of the important terms and aspects that will come up as we progress through each of the videos in this series. I will continue to build on these ideas as we go, so as not to present an even more overwhelming amount of information all at once. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Definitely be on the lookout for the one on harvesting bowwood very soon. Subscribe, hit the bell icon so you won't miss it. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you again soon.